How's it, everyone? I'm just doing a quick video on the IMA Rejuvenation for the 2010 to 2012 Honda CR-Z. This is not meant to be an in-depth guide. This is just a basic rundown of what is needed and how to do things. This video is meant to be used in conjunction with the extensive forum thread on CRZForum.com. There will be a link down in the description. Any materials or parts that I used specifically, I will link down in the description as well. Again, this is just a basic guide. This is not a comprehensive guide. Rather go through the thread by Peter Perkins and crew to get a proper, more comprehensive, in-depth guide of what needs to be done. This is just meant to be more of a visual aid to help people sort of know what to look for, etc., when doing the IMA Rejuvenation. And just a reminder, this is for the NiMH cars only. If your car has an S+ button, then this procedure is not for you. It will not work on your car. If there is no S+ like you see over here, then you can proceed as described in the procedure for the hybrid rejuvenation. Now, as far as tools go, the first tool, the most important tool that you need, are good insulated rubber gloves, something that has got rubber on them to insulate you from the IMA pack. We are dealing with voltages in excess of 100 volts DC. It can and will kill you if you are not careful. Again, most important tool, gloves to insulate you from the IMA pack. Kitchen gloves should do the job nicely. You don't need like super expensive, high insulating, high voltage gloves. We are only dealing with 100 volts here, but you need gloves for your protection. Next on the list of important tools, you need a constant current LED driver, something that is able to put out approximately 130 to 140 volts off-load current at no more than 350 milliamp hours. Quick correction, milliamps, not milliamp hours, but milliamps. You need a constant current of no more than 350 milliamps or 0.35 amps. Okay, it needs to be a constant current LED driver. What I have here are Meanwell 25 watt 350 milliamp hour LED drivers. They have a output of 70 volts each. They are wired in series to give me a total of about 140 to 150 off-load voltage. For those of you who are worried about too much voltage, do not worry. What will happen is that when this is connected up to the IMA pack, the voltage of the batteries themselves will pull down the voltage of this unit to match the voltage of the IMA batteries, because we're dealing with between 100 to 120 volts depending on level of charge. Do not worry if you have more voltage than what you think is safe. Your battery pack will pull down the voltage. Next, to disassemble the IMA pack, you need a 10mm socket, 12mm socket, a T30 Torx, and for one of these bolts, you'll need a small extension to get in there. It is by the switch. You will see this later on in the video. Very important, the batteries do get warm when they're being charged. You need some form of cooling, okay? I will show you on later in the video what my setup is, but some form of forced induction to force air, even at a slow speed, throughout the IMA system in order to keep the batteries at a reasonable temperature. You will also need some form of powering the fan, okay? Whatever fan you use, not too important. I have a 12 volt base system here. Just for sake of completion, I have a 12 volt keeping these two cool. This one is optional. This one here, not so much. And lastly, I do not have a picture of this. I do not have it with me here, but you'll want just a basic trim removal tool. It's optional. There are two plastic clips keeping the main shield for the IMA pack in place. You could use a flathead screwdriver, but a trim removal tool just makes your life a lot easier. For the second phase of rejuvenating your IMA, you need some way of draining the balanced pack completely down to zero. And you want to do it as slowly as possible. I have here two 60 watt or 70 watt incandescent globes and a set of connectors and a way to connect it to my IMA pack. I do not have footage of me doing this second pass, but the procedure is very similar to hooking up the charger, okay? You hook up the connectors to the positive and negative. You put as many globes as you want, 2 globes for fast, 1 globe for a slow discharge, and then you turn the IMA pack on. And then you wait at least 24 hours. You want to keep the battery at 0 volts for at least an hour or two in order to reactivate the chemistry. First step, you need to get everything out from inside here. So remove your spare tire, take it out, remove the foam, all of that. Take your back seat and lower it. You want it lowered because you are going to need to remove all the trim and everything here in order to get in and free up the space needed to access your IMA. You will want to remove this plate here, this cross member that is used to secure your spare wheel should you have one. Some Z's don't come with it. There are 4 12mm bolts. 1, 2, 3, and a bit hard to see, 4 inside there. Remove those 4. You will take this, you will pull it up from here this way and then rotate it out. It might be a bit easier if you remove this back trim first. The next step, this back trim here has to come off. There are several clips, notably the back there. There's one in the middle here, there's one over there, and various clips. I have pre-loosened this one already. You just got to give it a good tug, try and pull it up from the clip there, from the clip there, from the clip there. Then you can remove it entirely and you'll have access to the outer cover of the IMA. To safely disengage and turn off the IMA pack, remove these 2 10mm bolts. I've pre-loosened them here. Take off this access panel, and this switch here you flick upwards and your IMA is now turned off. It is now disconnected and should be safe. Just remember your gloves. If you need to turn on the IMA, you press this little red switch in and you can flick it back down again. The next step, there are 4 T30 bolts that need to be removed. In addition, underneath the IMA switch is a 10mm bolt. You remove those 4, and on the front here, over there, and over there will be panel clips that need to be removed in order to remove this top cover. As is seen, okay, the far terminal with the blue bolts is your negative terminal. That is the negative part of the battery pack. On the far right, the one with the little Phillips screw, that is your positive terminal. Okay, don't worry about the pins in between. You want the furthest 2 away from each other in order to charge up your IMA pack. Okay, so the correct order of correcting things, of connecting things together. All right, keeping in mind, I've added a little clip there to make it easier for me to connect. But you want to connect to that there is your positive, that there is your negative of the battery pack. The correct order to connect these things in together is your IMA switch is off. You connect your negative, you connect your positive. You can then connect mains to your charger pack. Once that is on, you can use the multimeter, verify that you've got voltage. In my case, I get about 153 volts. That's the 70 times 2 on an off-load voltage. And then once you've got power to that, then press red button in, flip down the IMA pack to turn on the IMA, and from there it will now start charging. And then you leave the process for 24 hours if you can, and that should slowly bring all the cells back up to balance. Another important thing, you must always make sure that you have airflow. You need to make sure that you have a fan blowing in through the main vent, either through here, as you can see, or you take this, you pull up to unblock the vent, and you get a fan that is nice and sealed, blowing air in through there, which will circulate through the IMA pack, come out through here, through to the exhaust. And the final step, to reset the reusable capacity, take your 12 volt, disconnect it for 30 to 60 seconds. That will reset the ECU and all the learned parameters and whatnot, and the usable capacity. Then plug it back in and make sure you have your radio code handy, because you will need to re-enter that as well. But your IMA usable capacity will be reset to 75%, and from there we'll see how it goes.